You don't belong here. That's what they said, but they forgot one thing: the real queen doesn't need a crown to own the throne. They say blood is thicker than water, but oil and fire. That's what my family really was. And I was the spark they tried to drown. But sparks don't drown. Sparks ignite. I walked into that massive private estate, though, old Whitlock Manor, now turned into the family's legal HQ, with heels clicking like war drums. The marble floor shone like ice under my steps, but I didn't slip. Not anymore. Not since I learned how to walk through fire. I wasn't invited. Of course not. It was the final reading of my father's will, the same father who had once told me I was a stain on the family name, just because I didn't want to marry a banker or intern at his law firm. I was 22 when I walked out, carrying nothing but a laptop, a worn guitar, and the shattered pieces of my pride. That was 11 years ago. And now, I was back. Not for revenge, not even for closure. I came for the reckoning. Miss Zara Whitlock? The receptionist's voice trembled slightly. Mr. Grayson, the family lawyer, says this reading is for legal heirs only. I gave her a kind smile. He'll want me there, trust me. Behind me, I heard the familiar click of designer heels. Ava, my half-sister, Daddy's little princess, dressed in white, like an angel dipped in money and attitude. She froze when she saw me. You have got to be joking. Then came Elliot, oldest son, trust fund face, ego large enough to block the sun. Oh wow, he laughed. The prodigal failure returns. Who invited the starving artist? And finally, Jasper, quiet, brooding, and always pretending to be better than the rest. Except he wasn't. He just hid his knives better. Grayson appeared just then, stepping out from the carved oak doors. He looked straight at me and paused. A beat of silence passed, then he nodded. Miss Whitlock, thank you for coming. You're just in time. Please, all of you, come in. Ava looked ready to scream. You've got to be kidding. She's not even Dad. Literally cut her off. She doesn't belong here. I looked at her calmly. Maybe. But then again, maybe your father left a few surprises behind. You'll want to hear this. We all entered the conference chamber, a room where billion-dollar deals had been signed, and where my father once told me I'd never succeed without his name. The irony was almost poetic. I took a seat, dead center, opposite the throne-like chair where Dad used to sit. Grayson cleared his throat. Before we begin reading the will, Miss Whitlock has something important to present. Documents that may affect the interpretation of the estate. Ava scoffed. Oh, this is going to be good. Did you draw us a song, little songwriter? I slid a thick black folder onto the table and opened it with the flair of a magician about to pull a dragon out of a hat. No songs today, I said, pulling out contracts, deeds, and share certificates. Just numbers, ownership transfers, acquisitions, takeovers. Everything you thought belonged to the Whitlock family now belongs to me. Elliot laughed out loud. You're insane. Am I? I slid the first document across. That's the acquisition paper for Whitlock Plaza. Bought 3 years ago. Under Zion Holdings, a company registered in the Cayman Islands. Care to guess who owns Zion? Their silence was golden. Jasper reached for a paper. This can't be right. Oh, but it is. I leaned forward. While you were busy throwing lavish parties and launching useless wellness apps, I was buying every piece of this empire brick by brick. Ava's voice cracked. You don't have that kind of money. I didn't. But the record label I built from scratch, the one that owns 12 Billboard charting artists and just signed a deal with Netflix for 2 film scores, that label does. We pulled in $68 million in profits last year alone. Elliot's smile faded. You were the competition. I nodded. All this time, the firm's biggest threat, the one outbidding you on properties, swallowing up Dad's offshore accounts, undermining your deals, was me. Grayson spoke again, voice steady. We verified every transaction. All were legal. No fraud. No coercion. Fair market purchases. Miss Whitlock now owns 83% of the assets once under the Whitlock Family Trust. Ava stood, fists clenched. This is theft. No, I said coolly. This is business. You just didn't know you were playing. But Dad hated you, Elliot barked. He said you were. I cut him off. An embarrassment. A failure. A disappointment. I know. He said it to my face. But what you don't know is what he said to me 2 weeks before he died. Their eyes locked on me. He called me, asked me to come to the lake. We sat by the fire. He looked older, weaker, and for the first time in his life, he said, sorry. Jasper blinked. He apologized. Yes. And then he said something I'll never forget. Turns out, Zara, you didn't need the Whitlock name. The Whitlock name needed you. The room fell silent. Grayson finally opened the envelope. Official will to my children, Ava, Elliot, and Jasper. I leave the remaining holdings of the Whitlock Law Corporation. Its name, and its legacy, though much of it no longer remains under our control. Ava gasped. Wait, what? And to my daughter Zara, I leave my private vault, my copyrights, my original investments in Zion Holdings and Aurora Records, and my final written statement. Grayson handed me a sealed letter, heavy with the weight of everything we'd never said. I didn't open it. Not yet. Elliot was trembling now. This can't be real. This has to be a scam. We'll challenge it. We'll call the board. You'll do nothing, I said, rising, because I've already done it all. The board you're threatening to call? I bought controlling interest last month. The bank you've mortgaged your lifestyle on. My company refinanced it last week. Ava collapsed back into her chair, pale as milk. Why? Why would you do this? I walked slowly to the door, then turned. Because you all wrote me off. You whispered about me, mocked me, made sure Dad disowned me publicly, so you could feel secure in your inheritance. You tried to bury me, not knowing I was a seed. Jasper stood, desperation in his voice. So what now? You want us to grovel? You want revenge? I tilted my head thoughtfully. No. I want you to work. Starting Monday, you report to my corporate HQ. I'm offering you real jobs. Entry-level performance space. No favoritism, no last names on the door. Entry-level, Ava choked. We're Whitlocks. I smiled. Then prove it. I stepped out of that cold room and into the sunlight. The wind was crisp. My phone buzzed. New text. Meeting confirmed. Zara Whitlock Enterprises. Forbes wants a feature. Title suggestion. The heiress who took nothing and ended up owning everything. I looked back once toward the house, my family still inside, sitting in the ruins of their illusions. Let them sit with it. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't payback. It's becoming the empire they never believed you could build. It's walking into their kingdom and realizing you own the land beneath their throne. So tell me, have you ever been underestimated so deeply, you wanted to thank them for it later?